This is Pokemon Pure Blue. Think of it as the consumer-friendly version of the original Blue. It fixes the whole buy multiple Game Boys and multiple games or abuse the trainer flag glitches to catch them all thing. And sure, completing the Pokedex for my first time ever is a goal. That's been done to death on YouTube.
Boring.
The real challenge for this series is that I'm route locked. I must catch every available Pokemon in an area before I'm allowed to move on to the next. The rules are simple. 1. Clear the area. I have to catch everything currently available. If I get a new HM or rod later, I have to U-turn all the way back to Pallet Town and clean up all the mons I left behind before I can continue on with my journey. 2. No dupes. If I have a Pidgey, but I need a Pidgeotto for Route 4, for example, I either catch the Pidgeotto or evolve my Pidgey to progress. One or the other, but not both. 3. In addition to catching all the Pokemon in the route, I need to beat the area's gym leader before moving forward. Unless, like Viridian City for example, it's not possible at the time. And number 4, finally, I need to beat the Elite Four to assert my dominance and also mogger my rival Gaza. One last thing before we begin. I think I need to address the elephant in the room. I'm not the first person to try a RuneScape Chunklock style challenge for Pokemon. That crown will go to Bro Sidon with his Route Master challenge. And I know I have nothing on his series. You shiny hunters are built different. My rule set is more for people that are clinically sane but also time poor. So with that out of the way, let's begin. Upon starting the game, we're giving a brief lecture by an old geriatric. I thought it only fitting given the nature of the challenge we call ourselves Chunk. And we also do get the opportunity to name our rival. He seems to have forgotten what his grandson was called again. But after a minute or two, his eyes unglaze, just briefly, and he remembers his name is Gaza. We then shrink down into this little guy and wake up in front of our Super Nintendo. What a brilliant piece of marketing. Mum's watching Stand By Me on the TV and tells us, all boys leave the house someday. You just watched that, Mum. I'm 11 years old. She also tells us Professor Oak is looking for us. So after looking around the town a little bit, I couldn't find him anywhere. Unfortunately, it seems like the old guy's wandered off. I better go have a look in that tall grass over there. After finally catching up with Professor Oak, he takes us back to his lab and it's time to pick our Pokemon. And after much debate, I settle with Squirtle. I mean, you saw the thumbnail, we're playing Pure Blue. It just makes sense to pick the big man himself. And of course, you know, Gary's gonna pick Bulbasaur just to be a little bitch and get that super effective bullshit going on. After clapping Gary's cheeks, it's time to dip out of Pallet Town and head towards Viridian City. The first place we stop into is the Pokemart to get some Pokeballs and properly start the challenge. They won't sell any to us yet because we need to do a little side mission and take a parcel back to Professor Oak first. So with that side quest taken care of and Pokeballs in hand, it's finally time to start clearing out Route 1. The first Pokemon we come across is a Rattata, and I thought I'd try and soften him up a little bit, but I accidentally smashed the little fella and, well, we're gonna have to wait till the next one now. Luckily for us, or maybe not so luckily, because I'm sure these things are about as common as flies on shit, we're right into another one, and after 2 bubble beams, we chuck a Pokeball and get the job done. Rattata down. We do the old Control C, Control V on the Pidgey, and Pidgey is caught and added to the collection. We're actually breezing through Route 1. Luckily for us, it didn't take too long to come into our first Eevee as well. Eevee's not normally in Route 1 in the original games. This is a placement due to the ROM hack. So we catch our first Eevee, and I'm going to try and catch 2 more here so that I can get all of the evolutions. This is probably one of the only times where I'll purposefully catch duplications of the same Pokemon. So we need to head back, heal up, and go back to Route 1 to catch those last 2 Eevees. And I sort of use this opportunity while I'm looking for them as a bit of like downtime to train the Pokemon I have as well, just to get them up a couple of levels, seeing as I don't really have a team at the moment and I'll need them for gyms, and there'll be a lot of swapping in and out until I sort of build my established team that I'll be probably mostly going to stick with for the other gym leaders and the Elite Four, with like minor alterations here and there. It's basically rinse and repeat of going to the Pokemon Center, getting into a few battles, and catching the last two Eevees as we go. It didn't feel like it took too long, but I'm sure it probably was like half an hour or more of my time. The painful part is like after being dry for like over half an hour, I go back to get my Pokemon up a few more levels, and like within 5 minutes, I'm into three Eevees. Where were you guys? With Route 1 cleared and my Pokemon up a few levels, I figured it was about time to move on to the next route, which just so happens to be Route 2. Route 22. If memory serves me correct, Gary will be waiting for me just a bit past here. So I'm going to try and clear here just a little bit, and I get into a Doduo straight off the rip, and it just about wipes my whole team. I'm not feeling confident about fighting Gary anymore. So of course I catch Doduo because I want his power for myself and I need to clear the area. And this is one of the other routes where I actually need to catch a duplication. I need to catch both a Nidoran male and a Nidoran female. So that's one kind of unique fact about this spot. I also have to catch a Spearow and a Meowth before I can move on. This area was surprisingly fast, and I catch one of my goats here. Meowth comes in clutch early game for me. I burn through Pokeballs, so having Payday be able to, I guess, deal damage and give me extra cash is super useful. The goat, Meowth. That's right. Gary's only got two Pokemon, but he definitely has a quality over quantity team going as opposed to my own. So I try and send out some of my weaker ones just to maybe get them up a couple levels, and he ends up almost wiping through them, but luckily Pidgey jumps 2 levels after beating his Bulbasaur finally. With Route 22 done, it's time to quickly do Route 2, and we've already caught most of the Pokemon here, so all we're looking for are Ekans and Growlithe. After we're done here, we're on to Viridian Forest, and Viridian Forest in this game is a little bit different to the original games. So what we need to catch in Viridian Forest is obviously your basic Caterpie and Weedle, but there isn't any Metapods or Cocooners in this game, which is good because they were just fucking annoying, if I'm being honest. And there is a Venona and a Pikachu. I'm not too sure if they were in the original games. Maybe Yellow might have had them, but they're here, so we need to catch them. With Viridian Forest done, we make our way to Pewter City. And one of the new features is there's a quest where a woman's husband has lost her wallet in the museum. So if you go and get it back for them, she'll give you a reward, and that reward is called a Pocket Abra. This basically lets you use teleport straight away without having a Pokemon that has it. I think it's just a cool little quality of life feature, and I definitely use it. I'm glad it's there, and I don't think it kind of ruins the game or changes it in any kind of negative way. So that's a pretty cool addition, and it's worth doing in my opinion. The next thing I do is go find my ops, Brock, and absolutely piece him up. Super easy fight. He gets destroyed. I swear to God, he was way harder when I was a kid. And as a reward, aside from getting the gym badges and the TM, you get what's called Apex chips in this game. And Apex chips are chips you can attach to Pokeballs, attached to your Pokemon's Pokeballs, ones you've already caught, and I think it gives them like a special boost or something like that. I haven't read into it too much, but again, it's a new thing that the ROM hack has added. You don't have to use them as far as I'm aware, and I don't know. It's just a cool little addition. With Brock down, this brings us to the end of our first episode. Here are all the Pokemon we caught, and here are all the routes I've cleared, keeping in mind that I will circle back to these routes to clean up all the ones I left behind that need to be caught with either surf, cut, or a rod of some type. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, not even for the algorithm, just to let me know that someone is actually watching it and actually enjoying it, and I'm not just wasting my time putting it out to no one. Thank you.